Good day, class. So we are going to do a beaded bag using pearls, two sizes of pearls, size 6 and size 14. So with our 0.8 fishing line, please use your 0.7. I don't have 0.7 and 0.6 is too weak, so I'm using 0.8. And then your pair of scissors and your picker. So let's begin. So I cut a short one. So you take 6 beads, add all 6 to the left. So you would interlock the 6th one. So we've done that. Now you put your fishing line together and you take one bead, just one bead, and you pass the bead through the fishing line you put together like this. So you're supposed to have something like this. Okay, so you just turn this, put the fishing line through the gap, and then you separate the fishing line. You put the bead to the gap, I mean. You separate the fishing line like this. Then let's start with the right bead. You pass the fishing line through the bead of the opposite side. That's one. Then you do the same thing for the other one or for the left one. So we're done with that. Now pull. So you're supposed to have this. This is the first step. To start the next line, you take one gold bead, one big pearl, one gold bead, put it on the left fishing line, one big pearl, then the last one, which is going to be one gold bead. So 5 beads in total, 3 gold and 2 big pearls. Oh, yeah. So you interlock the gold bead like that. So we have our first step. Now the right fishing line will go to the next bead like that. So now we want to continue. So we'll start with, since it's to end with a gold bead, we'll start with one big bead, one gold bead, one big bead, one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead, then pull. So we have this, and then our right fishing line will go to the next bead. So again, one big bead, since we start with a gold bead, one gold bead, one big bead, one gold bead, and then you pull, and right fishing line will go to the next bead like that. So again, one big bead, one gold bead, one big bead, and one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead, which is the last bead. Pull. Right fishing line will go to the next bead. One big bead, one gold bead, another big bead, and one gold bead. Pull. Right fishing line will go to the next 2 beads is where the last bead. So one, pass to the big bead, and then the last one through the gold bead. So we have that. Now we'll just take one big bead, one, and then one big bead. So interlock or lock the big bead. So we have done that. This is what we're to have now. Our wife should will go to the next bead like that. So now we want to start a new line, and it's going to be different from the first one because you just take one gold bead, two big beads, and then one gold bead, and you interlock. Then you pass your wire fishing line through just the gold bead on the lower side. Just the gold bead though, not through both beads. Okay. So we've done that. Now to continue, one big bead on the left and one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead. Pull. So now we've done that. Our right fish line will go to the next two beads, which is going to be the big beads. So to continue, we already have one gold bead. So just take two big beads and then one gold bead. Then you interlock the gold bead. Make sure your hand is tight. So our right fish line is going to go to the next bead, which is the gold bead. Okay. So we're gonna now to continue, just take one big bead and one gold bead. They would interlock and make sure it's tight. Then our right fish line will go to the next two beads, which are the big beads. So again, two big beads, one gold bead, and then you interlock the gold bead. So you're going to keep doing this method till you get to the last, till I'll do this method till I get to the last or second to the last bead. I'm going to do it off camera. So yeah, just keep doing this method till you get to the last or second to the last bead. Okay, so I am at the last bead. So the right fish line or the lower fish line will go to the next two beads. One, two. So cool. Then we'll just finish it with one big bead and then I'll lock this. And we're done with the base of the bag. So this is what we're to have. Now we want to start a new side. So let's turn this over and then you pass the wire fish line to the next bead, which happens to be here. Now we'll continue with one gold bead, two pearls, and one gold bead on the left fishing line. Interlock the gold beads. The difference between the first and the second is that this one will stand like this. These are to stand. So the lower fishing line will go to the next two beads, which are the big pearl beads. So 1, 2. We've done that. So now to continue, just take 2 big beads and then 1 gold bead, and you interlock the gold bead. We've done that. So now officially I go to the next 2 beads, which happens to be the big beads. So again, to continue, 2 big beads and 1 gold bead. Interlock the gold bead. Now officially I go to the next 2 beads. Again, 2 big beads, 1 gold bead. Now officially interlock the gold beads. Now officially I go to the next 2 beads. So again, 2 big beads, 1 gold bead, interlock the gold bead. Now officially I will go to the next 2 beads. So you're going to keep doing this till you get to the last or the second to the last, which is here. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'll do it off camera till I get to the last or second to the last. Okay. So we're at the last bead or the last one. So our love is going to get through the next 2 beads. So 1, 2, like the usual. But if we add the 2 beads to it, it's going to become disfigured because we're at the last end. So now, how do we do that? You pass the lower fishing line through this first gold over here. So you pull it, make sure both sides are adjustable. And if you look at it, we already have gold on both sides. So what do we need to do? Simple. Take 2 beads, add them to the left, then interlock the second bead. I think I'm going to lock mine. So done that, we have finished the first line. Let's adjust. Let me quickly adjust this. So now we've done that, and we want to start a new line. So this fishing line will go to the next bead like this. So let's start with left one again. So to start, one gold bead, two pearls, and one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead and pull. So we have this. So the lower fish line is going to go to the next two beads, which happens to be the big beads. Then take two beads that are big, and then one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead, pull it down, the right fish line go to the next two beads. So I'm just going to keep doing this till we get to the second to the last set of beads, because we're doing it in twos. So the second to the last set of beads. So let's keep doing this till we get to the second to the last set of beads. Okay. So we're at the last bead, or the last one. So our love is going to get through the next two beads. So 1, 2, like the usual. But if we add the two beads to it, it's going to become disfigured, because we're at the last end. So now, how do we do that? You pass the lower fish line through this first gold over here. So you pull it, make sure both sides are adjustable. And if you look at it, we already have gold on both sides. So what do we need to do? Simple. Take two beads, add them to the left, then interlock the second bead. I think I'm going to lock mine. So done that, we have finished the first line. Let's adjust, and we want to start a new line. So this facial line will go to the next bead like this. So let's start with our left line again. So to start, one gold bead, two pearls, and one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead and pull. So we have this. So the lower fish line is going to go to the next two beads, which happens to be the big beads. Then take two beads that are big, and then one gold bead. Interlock the gold bead, pull it down, the right fish line go to the next two beads. So I'm just going to keep doing this till we get to the second to the last set of beads, because we're doing it in twos. So the second to the last set of beads. So let's keep doing this. So we have reached the second to the last place. Let's show you. I've already put the bead on the left side, so we're just going to interlock the gold, and now we're at the last side. So our lower fish line is going to go to the next 3 beads. That is 2 big beads, and then our final bead, which is the gold. Okay, so you just take 2 big beads because we already have the gold there, and you just lock the big beads. So we've done that. Now our right fishing line will go to the next bead. So we've done that. Now I want to start a new line. And how do we start a new row line? So our gold, 1 gold, 2 big beads, and 1 gold. Interlock the big bead and the gold. Lower fishing line will go to the next 2 beads, which happens to be the big bead. Then now 2 gold, take 2 gold, add it to the left. Then 2 big beads, you add it to the left. Then 1 gold, interlock the gold, pull it down, and we have this. Lower fishing line will go to the next 2 beads. You take 2 big beads, take 1 small gold, interlock the gold, pull. Lower fishing line will go to the next 2 beads. One more time, 2 big beads, 1 gold, interlock the gold. Lower fishing line will go to the next 2 beads, and our body of the bag is forming. So I'm going to keep doing this till I get to my desired height. I'm going to do it off camera till I get to my desired height, and this is all you keep doing. And then when we get to the end, past the visualize the next 3 beads, which happens to be, that's the last set of beads, which happens to be 2 big beads and 1 gold. Then after you do that, so you just take 2 big beads and then you interlock or lock, and that's how you complete the ending of a row. So I'm going to keep doing this till I finish the bag. I have done what I want as the desired height. So now let's use the lower fishing line to pass to the next 3 beads, because we're at the last place to finish this line. So pass it to the 2 big beads and then the 1 gold bead. So now just take 2 big beads and then you interlock, or in my case, lock. So now I want to do the handle. So I'm just going to put this together and then pass the beads through it. So big bead, small bead, big beads, small beads, Okay, I have done that. Now it's just to adjust and confirm. Yes, so we'll take it to the opposite side of the bag, and I guess this is my opposite side, but let's go for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Oh no, it's not. So this should be it. Let's go for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yeah, this is the opposite side, this place. So this place, yeah, this is it. So now we want to finish the bag. We want to finish the handle. So pass one fishing line to the opposite side piece bit like this. So the other one should look like this. So now I want to lock it, then tie later. So this is how you lock it. You pass at the same bead you pass the fishing line to, you pass the same fishing line to create this loop. Then the other side, you pass the other fishing line through the loop. Then you pull both sides like this. Pull it. After you pull it, you now like the mini fishing line, bring it down to secure the handle properly. So I'm going to do that offline, off camera. Okay, I now want to like confirm, like tie it. I want to tie it. So tie, tie. So tie the knot to just front. You start from here since here it's blocked. So that's the first one. Then the second line, pass it through and pull. So you pull both of them till the knot has disappeared. So this is it basically. This is the vintage power bag. This is how you make it. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching.